Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar with the news at 9. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is a ray of hope for the world in the 21st century. Addresses Indian community at Bali in Indonesia. Prime Minister Modi and US President Joe Biden appreciate continuous deepening of India-US strategic partnership. Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav calls upon nations at COP27 to urgently shift from mindless consumption to mindful utilization of resources. President Draupadi Murmu releases PESA Act manual for the benefit of tribals on Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. India becomes the world's second largest producer of steel, and Indian shooters bag 4 more gold medals at Asian Air Gun Championship in South Korea. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India is a ray of hope for the world in the 21st century. He said India is moving with an unprecedented speed and scale today, and the country's talent, technology, innovation and industries have made their significant mark in the world. He was addressing an event of the Indian community in Bali today.
भारत का टैलेंट, भारत की टेक्नोलॉजी, भारत का इनोवेशन, भारत की इंडस्ट्री, आज इन सारी बातों ने दुनिया में अपनी एक पहचान बनाई है। आज विश्व की अनगिनत कंपनियां ऐसी हैं जिसके सीईओ भारतीय मूल के हैं। आज दुनिया में जितने यूनिकॉर्न बनते हैं ना, 10 में से 1 यूनिकॉर्न भारत का होता है।
Mr. Modi said country's self-sufficiency in medicines and vaccines during the COVID pandemic benefited the world. On close cultural ties with Indonesia, Mr. Modi said India and Indonesia are connected by shared heritage and culture.
बाली से 1,500 किलोमीटर दूर भारत के कटक शहर में महानदी के किनारे बाली यात्रा का महोत्सव चल रहा है, जिसे बाली यात्रा कहते हैं। ये महोत्सव भारत और इंडोनेशिया के बीच हजारों वर्षों के ट्रेड रिलेशंस को सेलिब्रेट करता है।
The Prime Minister said the accomplishments of Indian diaspora make the country proud. He said Indians are playing an instrumental role in the development and prosperity of Indonesia. On the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister met with the US President Joe Biden in Bali, Indonesia. During the interaction, the two leaders appreciated the continued deepening of India-US strategic partnership and close cooperation in groups including Quad and I2U2. The two leaders discussed topical, global and regional developments. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked President Biden for his constant support for strengthening the India-US partnership. He expressed confidence that both countries would continue to maintain close coordination during India's G20 presidency. The Prime Minister also held brief discussions with French President Emmanuel Macron, Netherlands Prime Minister Mark Rutte, and Indonesian President Joko Widodo. In the evening, the Prime Minister attended the G20 dinner hosted by President Widodo. Sources said Mr. Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping exchanged curtsies at the conclusion of the dinner. Earlier today, the Prime Minister addressed the first working session of G20 on the issue of food and energy security in Bali, Indonesia. He said climate change, COVID-19 pandemic, the developments in Ukraine and the global problems associated with it have caused havoc in the world, and the global supply chains are in ruins. On Ukraine conflict, Mr. Modi called for a return to the path of ceasefire and diplomacy. He added that the onus of creating a new world order for the post-COVID period lies on the shoulders of the G20 leaders. Mr. Modi said India's energy security is important for global growth, and the world should not encourage any kind of restrictions on energy supplies. India has stressed that the world urgently needs a paradigm shift from mindless and destructive consumption to mindful and deliberate utilization. Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav said this while delivering India's national statement at COP27 at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt today. He said India has embarked on far-reaching new initiatives in renewable energy.
India updated its NDC in August 2022. We have embarked our far-reaching new initiatives in renewable energy, e-mobility, ethanol-blended fuels, and green hydrogen as an alternate energy sources. We also seek to foster strong international cooperation through action and solution-oriented coalitions like International Solar Alliance and Coalition of Disaster Resilience Infrastructure, both of which are launched and nurtured by India.
Mr. Yadav said India has submitted its long-term low-emissions growth strategy, indicating low-carbon transition pathways in key economic sectors. He said as the world's most populous democracy and a vibrant emerging economy, India seeks to lead by example. India has moved up to become world's second largest producer of steel. Union Minister of Steel Jyotiraditya Scindia said this during the Steel Conference of State Governments in New Delhi today.
India has traversed a long journey over the last 8 years in the sector of steel. From a country that used to be a net importer of steel, we have now graduated to becoming a net exporter of steel. From the fourth largest producer of steel 8 years ago, on a global scale, we are today the second largest producer of steel. But we are also the second largest consumer of steel.
Speaking about the growth of steel consumption in the country, Mr. Scindia said, in case of installed capacity of steel, the country has moved from 100 million tons a year to almost 150 million tons. Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia also informed that the country has registered a tremendous growth in the steel production. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the news at 9. President Draupadi Murmu today released a manual of the Panchayat's Extension to Scheduled Areas PESA Act issued by Madhya Pradesh government. It was released at a state-level Tribal Pride Day function organized at Shahdol. The manual will help tribals in getting more benefits from various welfare schemes. Speaking on the occasion, President Murmu hoped that these rules would help in the empowerment of the tribals.
मुझे विश्वास है कि जनजातीय क्षेत्र के सशक्तिकरण के लिए इन नियमों का प्रभावी उपयोग किया जाएगा। समाज के वंचित वर्गों के सशक्तिकरण के इन प्रयासों के लिए मैं राज्यपाल श्री मंगूभाई पटेल जी, मुख्यमंत्री श्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान जी तथा राज्य सरकार की पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत साधुवाद देती हूँ।
On the occasion, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that PESA rules are being implemented with social harmony. Later, the President arrived in Bhopal. She was officially welcomed at the Raj Bhavan. President Murmu virtually laid the foundation stones of 2 projects. President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted people on the birth anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Bowing down to all tribal freedom fighters and unsung heroes, Ms. Murmu highlighted how tribal communities made great contributions to the freedom struggle. The Prime Minister said Bhagwan Birsa Munda was not just the hero of freedom struggle, but was a carrier of country's spiritual and cultural energy. Mr. Modi said India has to give shape to its future by learning from the valor, community life and inclusion of the tribal community. The Union Government has declared 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas to commemorate the contributions of tribal communities in the nation's history and culture. In Gujarat, scrutiny of nomination papers for the first phase of Assembly elections was completed today. In this phase, the names can be withdrawn till Thursday. Our correspondent reports polling will be held for 89 out of the total 182 Assembly seats in the first phase on 1st of December. A report.
As the date for the first phase of polling in Gujarat approaches, the programs of star campaigners are being decided by the political parties to woo the voters. Prime Minister and senior BJP leader Narendra Modi will soon hold roadshows in the state. Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah will be present on the occasion of nomination of Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel tomorrow. Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is likely to visit the state on 22nd November. Aam Aadmi Party leaders Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann are already campaigning in favour of the party leaders. With Sanjeev Sharma, Aparna Khun, AR News, Ahmedabad.
The BJP has launched its theme song BJP Ka Matlab Seva Hai for MCD election in New Delhi today. The song is composed by party MP Manoj Tiwari. Party President JP Nadda and other party members have given their inputs in the song. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Tiwari said the song depicts the Prime Minister's vision of serving the people of the country. In Mizoram, operations are going on to search the missing migrant workers trapped in the debris of a stone quarry at Nantial district. So far, 8 bodies out of 12 missing workers were recovered till this evening from the debris of a stone quarry that collapsed in a massive landslide yesterday. The police have confirmed that of the 8 recovered bodies, 6 persons were migrant workers from West Bengal, 1 from Assam and 1 from Lunglei in Mizoram. Assam Rifles and Border Security Force joined the NDRF team in the search and rescue operation. In the Asian Air Gun Championship, India won 4 more gold medals to take their gold tally to 17 at Daegu in South Korea. Shiva Narwal won the men's 10-meter air pistol, while Sagar Dangi picked up the junior men's gold. In addition, both men's and women's youth teams won their events to make it another successful day for India. India's Vijay Veer Sidhu picked up a bronze, finishing the ranking round at 3rd place. The largest football extravaganza, the FIFA World Cup, is just 5 days away. It will kick off on Sunday in Qatar. This will be the first ever time that the tournament is held in the winter months. 32 teams segmented across 8 groups will compete for ultimate glory at 8 venues across Qatar. Final will be played on the 18th of next month. All the teams have announced their respective squads of up to 26 players each. The first match will be between hosts Qatar and Ecuador. Trophy winner will receive 38 million euros as prize money. That is approximately 320 crore rupees. The runner-up will get around 27 million euros. The key domestic stock indices today witnessed modest gains, recovering early losses. The BSE Sensex and the NSE Nifty both rose amid positive cues from global share markets. A report.
The Sensex climbed 249 points to close at 61,873. The Nifty also rose 74 points to end at 18,403. In the forex market, the rupee strengthened 16 paise against the US dollar. The domestic currency closed at 81 rupees and 10 paise against the American currency. At the multi-commodity exchange, gold futures for December was trading at 52,860 rupees per 10 grams, and oil prices fell more than 0.5%. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $92.70 per barrel. Nishit Kumar for AIR News.
The countdown has begun for the launch of new mega moon rocket Artemis 1 tomorrow from Kennedy Space Center, Florida. The U.S. Space Agency NASA said that it plans to launch the new moon mission after 2 failed attempts. Artemis is the most powerful rocket ever designed by NASA. It will be the first integrated flight test of NASA's deep space exploration systems that will enable human exploration to the Moon and Mars. Now let's have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is likely to have misty sky. Mumbai is expected to have mainly clear sky. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. Chennai is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is a ray of hope for the world in the 21st century, addresses Indian community at Bali in Indonesia. Prime Minister Modi and US President Joe Biden appreciate continuous deepening of India-US strategic partnership. Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav calls upon nations at COP27 to urgently shift from mindless consumption to mindful utilization of resources. President Draupadi Murmu releases PESA Act manual for the benefit of tribals on Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. India becomes the world's second largest producer of steel, and Indian shooters bag 4 more gold medals at Asian Air Gun Championship in South Korea. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.